spell that opens the doors to some inconsistencies.
Alohomora.
The Goblet of Fire rules. Harry Potter Tournament. The dangerous and fascinating trials are frequent elements of a decent adventure story, but the Harry Potter universe has added a peculiar detail. Could you believe that there were 7 regulated? Yes, we know Hogwarts has been struggling with safety issues for a while, but the only rule the tournament has is that once your name gets into the goblet, you sign a magic pact that cannot be, and we agree. But there was one more reason that should have let Harry pull out from the contest. Dumbledore himself announced that only one participant from each school could take part in the tournament. So why can a second participant from the same school, who in addition is a minor, take in the game? Burn the rules in the bloody fire! What kind of magic contract is— why do they let children take part in this at school? Well, if it wasn't for the or just being a regular boy. The rules of Quidditch. Potter, so we can't overlook it. If you think about it a bit deeper, Quidditch is not just one game. There are chasers trying to get the Quaffles and seekers going after Snitch. They have no connection whatsoever. That's true, one can easily exist without another, making the game more spectacular. But why do we need Quaffles then? All in all, it would make bludgers to find out who's got more skill on their broom. If only Hogwarts knew about the book Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality. The ban to visit another house's dorm. It's clever to keep each dorm separated by houses. In case a troll invades Hogwarts once again, the prefects can easily gather the students they are in charge of and protect them at night. But does it really need to be that strict that even during the daytime students cannot visit the other dorms? We don't see any other common rooms except the library and the dining room, where students can spend time together. It limits their friend circle and sets boundaries when it comes to who you can hang out with. House's table? They do not place kids by years so that they can socialize. Instead, Hogwarts has such a strong spirit of rivalry and hatred towards the other houses. The rule of retention, possibly. A couple of plot twists were built around Hogwarts bathrooms, like in the Chippy at night and leaves the dorm. Wouldn't they be violating their curfew? On the other hand, if you meet Filch at night in the hall, you won't need to go to the bathroom anymore. The Unbreakable Vow. The Unbreakable Vow is a very crafty and binding spell. It seals the deal between the two parties to make sure that one won't break their promises under any and all circumstances. Undoubtedly, the Death Eaters fear the Dark Lord a lot, but as we know, that did not stop some of his followers' name. Voldemort's poor judgment doesn't end there. The Dark Lord already had a chance to figure that out in the Order of the Phoenix. We are talking about the prophecy that Voldemort was chasing after the whole entire movie. Voldemort already knew the half of the prophecy, after Snape shared the conversation between Dumbledore and Sybil Trelawney. There was nothing new in the prophecy that was revealed to him or kill him from the very beginning.
But I am the chosen one.
But this foolish move— we get why Tom Riddle tried so hard to get rid of his Muggle father's last name. But then why did he force his followers to call him the Dark Lord? He tried so hard to become Voldemort, only for him to family have some kind of reservation for Gryffindor placement. Ron was the 8th in his family, who fitted it. It's just impossible that they all got chosen by a hat to one house. Another suspicion is how we form our behavioral habits, so if a badass Slytherin student would be placed in Gryffindor, he would probably become another person. It's a ridiculous rule to decide which students can become or with whom he or she can hang out with at the age of 11. Even college kids get to choose their major at the age of 19. Hogwarts should go a bit easier on the poor teenagers. The rule J.K. broke herself. Yep, this rule has so many plot holes, even J.K. Rowling admitted she was too careless with that one. Of course, we are talking about the Time Turner. As Rowling wrote, the time-traveling necklace is in fact a super dangerous thing, so no wonder McGonagall let Hermione use it without any doubts. Let's not forget that J.K. wrote that one student went so long back in time that she immediately got old when she returned to her present days. So yeah, why not give it to a 13-year-old student? Miss McGonagall also once mentioned that meeting your own self in the past can be very dangerous. But they do not mention it at all in the movie. The Time Turner could have solved a couple of problems in the wizarding world, which would have meant having a couple of plot holes, so J.K. was very glad to destroy them all in the 5th chapter. Anyway, our main problem with the time-turning rule is that one cannot go back into the past to save a life. The Time Turner doesn't allow you to change things in the past. Remember when Harry was like, "It wasn't my dad I saw earlier, it was me. I saw myself conjuring the Patronus before. I knew I could do it this time because, well, I had already done it." Does that make sense? Unfortunately, the cursed child messed up with the rules. Scorpius and Albus changed history entirely using a Time Turner. It gives them the ability to change the past, an ability the original Time Turners never had. Sadly, J.K. broke her own rules for no good reason. But no matter what we say here, we still love Harry Potter too much. What other plot holes did you find in the movies, and which one of them from this list is the weirdest for you? Thank you for watching Awesome Movies, and unless you are under Obliviate spell, please don't forget to subscribe.